Final Boys Status is a podcast about scary movies and the stuff that happens in them. The entire horror genre is generally frightening and disturbing, so if you're a kid, be sure to ask your parents if it's okay for you to listen. Or don't. You'd probably be cooler if you didn't ask for their permission. But then again, I won't tell you how to live your life. Also, we will be discussing spoilers during this podcast, so don't say we didn't warn you.
Well, welcome back for another episode of Final Boy Status. It's yours truly, Lance and Lappin. I am joined with two esteemed gentlemen, Adam, Michael, Bone, El Senor Hueso.
Senor.
And we have ourselves Lucas Haueter.
Hey! I panicked. Is that a good?
Dude, you can't tell, but I'm panicking right now. Like, look at my left hand. Look at it. It's a hook.
Oh, bitch. Did you do that just for these movies?
Yes.
Dude, we're going to be done with these movies in like a week.
What? We're moving on?
We're going to do other stuff.
Oh, no. Well, in case you guys hadn't guessed it, we're doing our second episode in the last summer movies. This time it is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, in case y'all forgot, or he forgot, Ben Willis. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Still getting death threats. That's cool.
Very nicely written death threats, I might add.
Very great handwriting, I must say.
Is it a pool party, or am I gonna die?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Or in the case of this movie, is it a romantic surprise, or is it a threat?
But at the same time, it could be a romantic surprise that's just a thinly veiled threat for later on. You'll find
That's
out.
true.
Just keep listening,
spoilers.
folks.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that. That's the first time I've actually thought about that.
Yeah, but anyway, so let's talk about the movie, gentlemen. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Luke, would you like to give us some general background and some premise of the story?
I would love to.
Cool.
But first, I have to tell you
Yes.
about how much I love Lisa's beds.
Oh, who doesn't?
And,
Tell us more.
Well, Lisa is a woman, I presume.
Yeah?
Maybe it's rude of me to presume, because you know what happens when you presume. You press you to me. Wait.
I don't see what's so bad about that. Anyway.
But they're like these beds that you order online.
Yeah.
And you go ahead and you order them online, and then they roll in, and you sleep right on them. They're not a sponsor,
I'm sorry.
but I want them to give me money.
Just the beds you order online, so you order them online. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really.
It's mean of me to do this bit, so it's all
No,
good.
dude. I really try not to be mean. That just got me good. Anyway, I'm sorry. We gotta give that shout out to Lisa's beds.
Yeah, Lisa's mattresses.
Lisa's
Please,
mattresses.
please.
Excuse me.
You can find that if you go to Google and you type in Lisa and mattresses. There'll be a website. You can order your bed online.
Cool.
I'm crying over this stupid bit.
Oh, that makes two of us.
Adam looks so
Three
bad.
of us.
Three.
Maybe different motivations for the tears, but
Adam-
tears all the same.
Adam is just crying
Different
tears of
motivation. How dare you disrespect Lisa's mattresses? What a quality product you did.
Treat him with respect.
Adam is just tears of rage.
I love my mattress. I love Lisa.
I love Lisa with all my freaking heart, man. Like, you don't even know I'm gonna come after you with a hook. You ain't even gonna see it coming, dude.
But I will leave a note, so you will see it coming along.
Oh, that's true, and I'm gonna murder the staff and whatnot.
Do you still want to know about the movie?
You know what? Yes.
give it to
I'm
us.
just a self-sabotager over here.
Right, so this is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. It was released in 1998, 1 year after I Know What You Did Last Summer. None of the original crew really came back for this, so our Scottish director friend Jim Gillespie. He is nowhere to be seen. Instead, it was directed by Danny Cannon. And Kevin Williamson. This is a little bit of a trivia factoid I'm going to throw at you first,
Let's
right out
hear
the
it.
gate.
Get
Kevin Williamson in 1998 was working on Dawson's Creek, his original movie The Faculty, and Halloween H2O.
Oh, wow.
And because of all of that, he was basically kicked off of the two franchises that had like jump-started his career. He was not invited to write Scream 3, and he was replaced working on this movie. So this movie was actually written by Trey Calloway instead of Kevin Williamson. And it shows.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
What would an incel be called in 1998?
A guy.
A guy.
For
So
being
a
honest.
guy wrote this script because
Yep.
every male
That's
character
right.
in this movie is horny or upset with women. That's all of their character traits. Well, except there's one guy who just only likes marijuana. Oh, but he's also like really horny.
Yeah, he's kind of creepy.
Creepy guy, yeah.
So Trey Calloway stepped in, and his male characters are all the same.
What a man.
Did
yeah.
he step in or step in it? You'll have to be the judge
You
of that.
hey, write in. Please, we'll give you an address right now. Go ahead and write to
4075 Dawson's Creek, South, North Carolina, Southport.
go
North
ahead and
Carolina.
write to 4 Washington
Carolina.
Lane, and let President Trump know.
Yeah.
Let President Trump know your thoughts.
Let him know.
You'll want to hear it.
But in terms of our cast, we have a pretty good one. I mean, we have returners Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. We have, of course, Brandy. Her full name Brandy Norwood, but if I say Brandy, everyone knows I mean the singer, right?
Yeah.
And then we had I'm so
Mekhi
worried about
Phifer.
mispronouncing this, but we're pretty sure it's Mekhi Phifer is his name.
Pretty sure.
It's the
And-
Eminem lyric. He says Mekhi Phifer.
Mekhi Phifer.
Mackay Pfeiffer.
Eminem's
So-
known
It's a
for
strong
pronouncing
name.
words right.
Yeah. So shout out to that guy. And if we mispronounce your name, I am very sorry, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Hey,
Don't come
we would
after
love-
Luke.
We would love
Yeah.
you to have. We would love to have you on the podcast.
Yeah,
you
I
can
want to
correct
ask
us-
you a lot
Yeah.
of questions about this movie.
I know it'd be great. So come on down. Sorry if we messed up your name.
And obviously, like, I shouldn't say obviously because I don't even know, but I believe this had a slightly bigger budget than the first.
It looked
That's
like it.
normally how it happens. Yes, so the first
Some
had a
more
budget of
kills.
17 million. This one had a budget of 65 million.
Balls.
They got basically a $50 million upgrade.
Yeesh.
Kind of
And
tell, but not that much.
I was
would've
gonna
said
say
like 60-something million. Like wow.
you can tell there was an improvement, but $50 million improvement?
What? Where was the other money going, guys? Where was the other money going?
Somebody had to pay for. I don't know. Somebody had to pay for Freddie Prinze Jr. to even show up. Like,
Okay, that's fair.
because at that point, like, that guy had to be in high demand at that point.
I
I mean,
know.
come on.
He's all that.
Speaking of Freddie Prinze Jr., if we're gonna get into some trivia about the movie,
Yeah.
this is a really funny thing to note. He has never seen this movie.
Really?
So he was
What?
busy shooting some other projects, working on some other things when the movie came out. And when word got back to him that it was poorly received and that people didn't like the movie, he just didn't bother seeing it.
Jeez, how baller of that guy just to be like, yeah, I didn't need to really see it. I was in it, but I didn't really see it.
Hey man, I lived it.
I was there. I know.
So we have Kevin Williamson and FPJ kind of on the ropes with this movie.
I know, right?
So some other funny, interesting trivia I can tell you. That before Danny Cannon came on board to the direct, the producers wanted Peter Jackson.
Whoa.
Peter Jackson?
Yeah, he was fresh
That
on
Peter Jackson?
that Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson.
He was fresh on the scene, at having just done a horror movie himself.
Okay.
I forget the title of it.
Yeah, Yep.
Sorry,
What are
internet.
you talking about? I don't know.
Desolation of Smaug.
That's it. How did you know?
The one with the dragon and the
1998.
gold statue and
Nothing
the
scarier
hobbits?
than dragons.
No, especially when they got that Sherlock voice.
Oh yeah. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
that was it.
He did great work on that. But of course, he obviously didn't direct this movie. He turned them down because he was still trying to get New Line to make some Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
And
well,
that was a good
And
call. I'm
respect
gonna
did
just
that
say
turn
that.
out?
guy.
Did that turn out okay?
You know what? I don't mean to be that guy, but I think he made a good choice. I mean I think all of us...
He had to be true to himself as an artist.
Sure.
It's hard to say whether or not he made the right call, but things turned out okay for him in the end, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, this is kind of offbeat trivia, but this is trivia related to Peter Jackson and his films.
Let's go with it.
Anyway,
Rolling with it.
did you know that New Zealand gained so much tourism from the Lord of the Rings movies that within their government, the people that are in charge of tourism are called Lords of the Ring?
I did not. It makes perfect sense.
Oh
yeah,
my
well, that's
gosh.
an official title you can have. I mean, like
Every time I watch Lord of the Rings, I just want to go to New Zealand.
I know. So
Even the
beautiful.
walking scenes, man.
Oh, I know. Anyway,
It's gorgeous.
but anyway, that is just a small tidbit I wanted to throw in there for free because you guys are listening and you're the best. And yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, nice. Speaking of free tidbits, if you guys want to go to a little website, www.cookiesthatareyum.com, and just demand free cookies, we don't have any sort of deal with them. So if you bring up our names, you don't automatically get free cookies, but try it out. www.cookiesarsoyum.com. Hopefully they'll give us money.
It's an R, not an A-R-E. R. So yeah.
Cookies are.
Yeah, like Toys R Us. Which, funny enough, the people that used to run Toys R Us now run cookiesareyum.com.
All
I
this
was hanging
trivia
by a
coming
thread in
out.
2020, Luke, and you just snapped it.
We're going to make L. Charles Lappin come out the gate.
Okay, we're good.
Do you want trivia, Lanson? Would that make you feel better? You want trivia?
You know what? That would make me feel so much better.
So we were talking about people that they wanted to be involved in the movie. Trey Calloway very obviously had somebody he wanted to be in the movie because the script had a very vague and yet super specific description of Nancy. The script straight up said Nancy looks like Jennifer Esposito. So when the script came across Jennifer Esposito's desk, I guess she had no choice but to say, sure.
They're dropping your name in there. Yeah.
It's kind of like, have you guys heard this story how in Predators, the character that Danny Trejo played, in the script, it said that the character was a Danny Trejo type.
Oh my.
And somebody read that, told Danny Trejo. So Danny Trejo called the director and said, so Danny Trejo, how about Danny Trejo? Cast me.
Let's cut out the middleman.
I'd believe that happens with
Just go to the
everything he's
source.
in. Like Breaking Bad, they're like Danny Trejo type. Like he
Trejo.
is
And he
just a
hears
type.
and he hears about it, calls him up.
He's like, hey, how about I just do it? I'd believe that if you told me that.
So that's another free tidbit, audience. If you want to know why Danny Trejo is in the movie Predators, it's because they wrote a Danny Trejo type into the script, and he said, that's me.
That's the guy.
Well, we talked about how important New Zealand is for Lord of the Rings. Now let's talk about how important the setting is for this movie. I mean, this movie, the setting is probably the strongest thing it has going for it.
That's for sure.
Changing the look of the
Yeah.
area. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
appreciate sort of the sense of isolation, too, that's brought to it. It
Oh,
doesn't
for
feel
sure.
the same as the small fishing town. It's a whole new,
Feels like a
almost
different
color
movie.
palette. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, this movie takes place in the Bahamas. It was not filmed in the Bahamas. It was filmed at the El Tuacan Marina Resort in Mexico.
No.
And all of the stuff that was supposed to be in Boston was filmed in Culver City, California, which you can tell pretty clearly because it looks nothing like Boston.
We know what Boston looks like. We've seen Goodwill Hunting. These guys won't know. Hang loose. How do you
Good
like
pay.
them apples? I got a number. Serve sub.
Stand for
The
that.
audacity of those people.
What the
The
fetch?
disrespect to Boston.
Feel on
Can't believe
sight
they
or
do
bust.
that. I have one more piece of trivia, but I don't know how to transition to it after talking about Boston like that.
I think
Hey,
you're doing a great job.
you know
that
what?
that was
We're-
perfect.
Jump right in.
You know what else I like about Boston? The next point of trivia.
You know what else I like about Boston?
Oh, wait.
They probably at one time played Brandy's music. And Brandy is in this movie. And funny
Right.
enough, so is Mekhi Phifer, who
Right.
was in the music video that year for Brandy. So Brandy
Oh,
that year
wow.
released her most famous song, The Boy Is Mine, the very famous duet.
Oh, yeah.
And Mekhi Phifer starred in that music video.
Uh-huh.
And before long, they were in this movie together.
Nice.
Just
So
the chemistry,
fun.
man. It's just
Fun little coincidence there.
it's just there, you know.
They had it.
So there you go. There's
The
some,
boy was hers.
I mean, so she says.
Hey,
I've heard there's another person in that music video that really disagrees with her on that front.
well, she wasn't in the movie. That's all I have to say.
She
Did
wasn't
she
in
make
the
the
movie.
cut? No.
So
You didn't make it.
She wasn't in the movie, so I guess she wins.
Well, yep, that's the way
You
I'm looking at it.
know what?
That's the way I'm looking at it.
Just when I think I have you, Luke, you spring out of the trap.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, so let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about our general opinion of the film. What would we give
Jeez.
our opinion of the film if we had to rate it out of 13 for spoopiness?
Oh, just for like scares?
Yeah, for spoopiness.
A -3. I don't know. I'm not even sure this movie was trying to be scary, honestly. Or if it was, like, every attempt at it was so strange and so counterintuitive that it just couldn't be scary. I mean, I don't know. I think there are plenty of opportunities for it to be scary, but it kept blowing it on, like, fake stuff.
There's like 50% just fake jump scares or fake scares, yeah.
Yeah, genuinely 3 different times where there's a jump scare, but it's Jack Black and not the killer.
It's
gosh,
literally
I know.
3 times for Jack Black.
Oogity boogity.
By the way, uncredited in this movie, and he should be
Yeah.
credited above whoever that bozo was playing Will Benson.
I know, right?
He was more of a character in the movie than Will Benson. What a
Jeez.
nothing boy, jeez.
So -3, okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Very boring, very predictable, and they wasted all jump scares on fake outs. And
Yep.
then when the actual killer shows up, it's like,
Hey.
whatever.
Yeah. All right. Senor Hueso, what do you give this?
I mean, I'm there with Luke. I think there was no intensity or fear I felt for the entire movie. I think I'll give it a 0. I don't
0?
think it was
Okay.
negatively. I don't know what the opposite of scary is, but
Funny.
funny.
Ooh, there you go.
Was it funny though?
I laughed quite a few times,
Well,
to be honest
okay.
with you.
I'm gonna
That's
still
me.
go with 0. I think it was not scary at all. I think it tried to be.
Yeah.
So maybe a 0.5 actually, just for the attempt of, because there was some scenes where, you know, she was walking slowly through her apartment and ended up just being her roommate a couple times, but you could see where they were coming from, where they're like, okay, this is gonna be scary. It wasn't, but they were trying. So 0.5 for Adam.
0.5. 0.5 for Adam. Yeah, in my opinion, I would give this... I'll give it a 1.
Hey, it's the most generous of all of us.
You know, I'm there with you guys. I just felt like... I don't know. I guess I was entertained by it, so I'm like, you know what? There's no real tension. There's no real stakes in it. But hey, I had a good time. Just kind of like poking fun at it a little bit. So I'll give it a 1.
We talked a lot more during this
Oh,
one
we
than the
did.
last one.
Yeah, a lot of
definitely.
commentary.
Plenty to say.
Yeah. So as far as just an overall movie out of 13, what would you guys give this?
What did I give the last one? Like a 7? 7.5?
I think so, yeah.
7.5.
This one definitely needs like a downgrade. So more in like the 5.5 realm maybe.
Yeah.
I'll say like 5.5. I'll go on the more generous side of that scale.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had fun with it. Like when people started, I think the first half was kind of disappointing, and it was the love triangle thing, and it was kind of like a summer teenager. Well, they were like adults, I guess, but it just kind of felt like a. But once people started dying and deaths happened, it was kind of a good time. I would say it was a solid 5.
Yeah, okay.
That's my experience was exactly the opposite.
Whoa, okay.
I was more into the movie before people started dying.
Oh wow.
I mean, it wasn't good. It was the cheesy love triangle.
Yeah, I don't think any of it was that good, but I hear you.
But no, I was kind of into it. I mean, you had Jeffrey Combs doing his like cameo where he was just like a snarky dick to these kids, and that was really funny to me.
There was some mystery, I guess. You're like, man, why is all the hotel people being all sketchy? Like, I don't know. I guess that was something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just... It wasn't anything the movie did on purpose.
Right.
It was just I was accidentally enjoying like the weirdness of the first half of the movie. But yeah, then as soon as the killer showed up, I was like, oh man, this is bad. This is rough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I honestly had the opposite experience.
Yeah, I'd probably give this movie. I'll give it a 6. I'll shock the world and give it a 6. I think mostly for me it was
I did it for Brandy.
She's Brandy. You got my love.
Simping over.
I ain't no simp.
Okay. After you say something like that, you turn full circle.
Simp.
It's okay if I call other people simps, but when people call me simps,
Fair comment. Fair. I feel that.
not at all a double standard, but whatever. Yeah, but I think I just enjoyed making fun of this movie so much that it kind of bumped it up for me personally. Also, just kind of the wackiness that went along with them being in the Bahamas and kind of your stereotypical, there's a guy that does voodoo. Well, of course there's a guy that does voodoo.
There's the weed guy.
What else do people do in the Caribbean in 1998? I don't know.
That's
It's
fair.
smoke weed and perform voodoo based on this movie.
Yeah.
The only research I did was this movie into that fact.
And just really wanting to have sex. Just
Yeah.
So much horny.
really
So
wanting
much
that.
horny. So much horny.
Just such
It
a
never
desire.
happening.
Yeah. The frustration. So let's talk about our killer that we got in this movie here. You may or may not have guessed it by now, but it's the same guy, Ben Willie Willis. Is
Well,
back.
actually, spoiler alert, the twist of the movie is that there's actually two killers the
yeah.
whole time.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's
That's all I have to say about that.
So some more. Yeah.
a twist, but wait, there's more.
It's Willie,
Yeah.
Sweet Willie Benson.
Ben's
Ben's son.
They hinged the whole plot on a pun.
I know.
the
that
last
was a-
name that's quite common, and he kind of said it like everyone. He was like, "You should have gotten this by now, Ben's son."
That was one thing that was actually well done, I think. Just from the fact that they're building, obviously, to that twist, is how many times during the movie people say Will Benson instead of just saying Will.
Yeah.
Like, at the beginning
true.
of the movie, I was kind of like, that's weird. Why did they put so much stress on that guy's last name? But there was payoff for that.
Yeah.
To
There
be
you
fair,
go.
too, maybe it was just me, but honestly, I didn't really see any of the twists coming. Like the voodoo dude was good and then bad and then good, and I don't know. Not that the twist really did a whole lot for the movie, but I didn't predict it, I guess. So that's credit.
The movie didn't seem
enough.
smart enough to have any twists. So it
Yeah.
surprised you when there were.
I guess that's true.
I let my guard down, and yeah.
that's something. I guess
Yeah.
I'm validating that 5 still.
Yeah, there you go. Solid 5.
Gotta keep it up.
Yeah, so we got good old Ben and Will, our two killers.
Antagonists, yeah.
Oh, man. Geez, I don't even know where to start with these guys. I mean, in terms of the moron meter, these guys they're bringing home stuffed animals from the carnival. Their whole plan hinges on these 4 idiots buying into the idea that they're winning a getaway, and then getting trapped on this island. The whole plan is just insane, right?
It really is, yeah.
From step one. I don't mean to be totally cynical, but if your plan to kill people would run into a snag if a few people missed a plane.
Right.
You need a new plan for how to kill people.
Ah, crap, they can't make it to the island, Pops. Years of planning wasted.
And also, Will has apparently been getting close to Jennifer Love Hewitt for a whole year.
It's quite a long con they've got going.
Yeah,
seriously long.
What is it? And we brought this up last time, but why wait a whole year? As soon as you figure out who it is, just go take care of business. As soon as you're alone with Jennifer Love Hewitt once, just kill her. Will. It's not rocket. Why wait a whole year and come up with this contrived plan where you have to pay thousands to get you and 3 friends on an island for an all expenses paid trip?
That's true.
You
They
know,
paid for it.
you really think about it, it's Here's what we do, son. We take him to the Bahamas. We take him to a resort I used to work at, and then we whack him there, one by one. But we also leave booby traps of bodies we've killed at the staff.
We have to kill everybody else
We have
first.
to kill everyone on the
scare 'em.
island to mess with them. No, but and that's the funny thing too, because we know that Jeffrey Combs isn't on it because he gets killed.
Yeah.
And so, but when they and when they show up, he's like, "Oh, the contest winners," which means they kept up the ruse even for the resort. They were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we're purchasing, we're purchasing a stay at these 2 rooms for some contest winners." And Jeffrey Combs was like, "Okay," like,
Sure. Yeah.
So they kept up the ruse with everybody needlessly.
Why? I mean, I get the island that they can't escape from, but that's so expensive. I feel like there'd be a better way to get them all in one room just to,
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention, like, they say at one point that Ben Willis used to work at this resort.
Yeah.
So if he gets seen by even one person, somebody can be like, "Hey, there's a guy that went crazy and murdered his wife. Let's call in the police." Although apparently that's not a problem in the movie universe, because Estes sees him
He did see him.
creeping out in the woods and is like, "This is fine." Doesn't even mention it until a bunch of people die, and then he's like, "Oh, you know what? There was a murderer hanging out in the woods
to
earlier
think of
this
it.
week.
Should've brought
Maybe
this
I
up."
should have clocked that."
Should have brought this up.
This movie's insane, y'all. This movie's bonkers.
You really stop to think about it, it gets pretty crazy pretty quick.
And in terms of, like, the kills themselves, like, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they shouldn't have worked. Like, even just, like, the first kill of the movie, there's that weird little, like, whoopsie-daisy, push the guy into the water, and then butcher him, and then pull his body out of the water and put it in the storm cellar?
Yeah.
There's a lot of body moving around, because then there's a guy in the closet, and then he moved it to... So...
You would have had to time that really well, or the kids pop around the corner and just, let me just get this guy.
And he's got to wipe everything down and sanitize it, because there's no more
Exactly.
blood drops, and...
We gotta make her think she's crazy. Nobody will believe you.
And if you want, like, proof of the fact that these guys are disorganized, they kill the maid because she finds some blood.
Yeah,
They
that's true.
accidentally leave blood for her to find, and they're like, "Whoops! Oh, we gotta kill her.
Ah, she's gotta die now.
Shoot, she's seen too
Into the
much.
dryer.
Stuff her in
In
there."
you go. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, there was also... there were... One of the first kills as well was the friend. The fishing boat friend that gets, like, straight up hooked
Oh
to the
yeah,
face.
FPJ's friend.
Yeah.
Whose name I don't
Dave.
even remember.
His name was Dave.
Yeah,
because he was a cool guy.
he
and I
was
liked him.
awesome.
Dave,
He was
yeah.
a great part of this movie.
The voice of reason.
And
yeah.
honestly-
He's like the one kill that makes sense in the whole movie.
I was gonna say I liked
Wrong
that
place,
kill.
wrong time.
It was like upper jaw pulled out of the car. I think it looked cool. I enjoyed
Yeah,
that kill.
It was gross.
I
was
saw it
brutal.
and I was like, this might be all right.
Yeah.
But
But it peaked early.
it peaked a little early.
Yeah. I mean, like, these guys aren't Jason, right? Like, Jason
No.
just likes to kill.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what order he goes in, right? Like, there's a final girl in Friday the 13th just because Jason gets to her last.
Yeah.
Like, he has no order for killing people. Ben Willis and his son, Will, they pretty clearly have one person on that island they want to kill. Why on earth save her for last?
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
Like,
Then clean up the witnesses after, just so it's pretty sure.
Right.
like, start with the 3 people that you dragged to the island, because, like, honestly, the staff, if they don't get a call from the people in a few hours, they probably won't care. They'll be like, "Oh, good, they don't need anything."
wow.
They were already incredibly apathetic, so
I know, right?
it was like a perfect situation.
If not antagonistic, at times.
almost.
And this is the thing for me in, like, both movies that I've noticed. It's like Ben can, like, move undetected from a lot of people, at least in the movie, you know. So it's like, I mean, like, it's just more dead bodies. It's more stuff to take care of, man. Like, you're just
man.
putting more work on yourself.
Talk about, like, not, like, like him moving, like, invisibly. When he kills Mekhi Phifer, he literally appears behind him.
Out of nowhere. There's
Out of
nowhere for
nowhere.
him to even come.
Like, there's no way nobody saw him coming,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden he's there shoving a hook through Mekhi Phifer's neck. And
Yeah.
like, by the way, that guy went out the way he lived, horny and complaining about it.
Oh, I know, dude.
His literal last line of just like, what's even going on? I'm horny, I'm hungry, and I ain't seen no psycho killer. Like,
But he's seen you.
by the way, I love how like he's seen dead bodies. He knows something crazy's going on, but in that moment, he's hungry enough and horny enough to doubt the existence of a killer.
You know
I
what?
ain't seen one.
You know what? As long as I get food and sex, man, just let me be. You can have Julie. You can have her, man.
I mean, he didn't care about Julie. He's a dick to her the whole movie.
Even after he saw the dead bodies.
He's a dick to everybody except the one girl because he wants to have sex with her. That's
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason
Well,
he's nice to her in
yeah.
the movie.
Pretty much. I know. Also, like, Ray kind of turned into a jerk in this movie. Like, in the first one, he's just, oh, I understand, Julie. I just want to be with you. And then it's like, what? You don't want to go back to our hometown where our friends got murdered? Whatever. It's probably because you don't like me.
Then he's like, I'm gonna marry her.
You know what? That was dumb of me. I love how also, like, Julie ends up calling him and is like, hey, you want to go to the Bahamas? And he's like, sorry, babe. I would love to, but I gotta fish. And then he hangs it up, and then he's like, damn, but I want to marry her. I want to propose, but I'm just waiting for the right time. And his buddy's like, you idiot. You could go to the Bahamas. We could fish any year. You could fish in the Bahamas. You could do it, man, and you could freaking propose to your girl in paradise. But you want to be here?
If only I had a sign.
Man,
What is the right time?
I just don't understand. Women can be so confusing. Okay, man.
With his
And
continued
that's
stupid
and that's
face.
another thing like that really sucks about this movie is all the times where it's like, wait, why did the characters do this? Because the writer said so.
Yeah,
Like,
motivation is very ambiguous.
Because it was convenient for the movie.
yeah, like friggin' Ray and Julie have like a little fight, and then Ray hangs up the phone and immediately changes his mind and decides to go to the Bahamas, and even says, "Hey, I'll call her back." And her friend goes, "Nah, dude, surprise her." And it's like, okay, Trey Calloway,
Okay.
thanks a lot for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Also, like, I don't mean to bring up a joke that I said earlier, like it was golden, but I just when he's like, man, like I love her, and his friend goes, well, what are you gonna do about it? And Ray reaches into his pocket to pull out the ring. There's a brief moment of just Ray digging around in his pocket, was like, what are you doing?
What are you gonna do? Hey, now.
Like, what are you gonna do about it? Let me show you. What? Is he pulling
Put
out
that
his
away.
dick? What's happening?
Ray, what are you doing?
Ray, stop! Put it away.
You could just say it. I don't need the
Yeah, like I understand.
show and tell here.
I understand movies are show don't tell, but like, whoa, Ray.
Wow, that's a lot. So yeah, that was, yeah, much to your point, Luke. You know, a lot. It just seemed like you definitely could tell the writing was by somebody else than the first one.
And it's the same thing for like Scream 3, because Kevin Williamson got kicked off of that, and you can really tell.
Just tell.
Yeah.
Kevin Williamson, I mean, the guy's dope.
Yeah.
If you out there have doubts, he also did Vampire Diaries. So what do you want? You know?
I did not know that.
I just found out today.
Oh wow, nice. Has anybody here seen Vampire Diaries?
I've seen an episode.
Nice. Okay. Was it any good? Sorry.
Back to the movie.
Anyway, geez, guys, I lost sight of where I was. So anyway, we talked a little bit about.
I feel like we've said enough about the killer. Can we
About the
talk
killers.
about these useless
Yeah,
meat
I know.
bags?
That's. What did you say?
These useless meat bags.
These meat bags. These freaking target practice.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so let's
gosh.
assess the victims. Let's talk about it. How smart were these guys? How smart were their decisions, in your guys' opinions?
I mean,
Dumb.
all I'm saying is we discussed how dumb the killers were, but
Yeah.
for the movie to work and for people to die, the victims had to be stupider, and so
Yeah.
they were just.
Which, by the way, like, super unfair. The only, like, OG character that got done justice was Ray, because he's
Yep.
he's an action movie star in the first movie, and he's an action movie star in this one.
Yeah.
And friggin' Julie went from being, like, this morally, like, this, like, very strong moral person who's very smart, very capable in the first movie, to this one, she's just, like, a pile of wet rubber bands. She's so useless.
Yeah.
sees a dead body and is like, I'm gonna go for a tan. That sounds great, and I don't care. Let's shut the door behind me. That's fine.
Actually, I have another trivia fact about that scene.
Yes.
This I know we're like a comedy show, so I know like we're a little more like comedy oriented. So if this gets like way too serious, I'm sorry, but like just I'm gonna like this is me taking Hollywood to task a little bit here because this is actually really messed up that this happened. I guess Jennifer Love Hewitt was so self-conscious about having to do that scene wearing a bikini and was so like underconfident about her physique that she didn't eat for like I mean there's different accounts. Some people say it was 24 hours, some people say it was 48 hours, but she didn't eat for like a while so that she would look better in the bikini for the tanning scene. And it was really hot and humid on the set that day. They were filming in Mexico, and it was a real tanning bed that they were using. Oh, no. So the heat of the tanning bed, the heat of the room, and the fact that she hadn't eaten, she ended up passing out in the tanning bed during a take.
Oh, no.
And the only reason they noticed and gave her medical assistance was her mom was on set that day. Just happened to be on set that day and noticed that she wasn't responding correctly and said, hey, get her out of there. Jeez. So they almost just kept on going without even, like, noticing.
Come on, guys.
So right now, straight up, like, it really sucks, like, what Hollywood does to women and does to women's body image. So, like, I just really want to take them to task a little bit right here and say, girls, wear whatever swimsuit you want. You are beautiful. And don't pass out in a tanning bed for a movie. That's not worth it. That, like... And this movie definitely wasn't worth it.
No, definitely not. I mean,
no, it didn't pay off. I mean,
yeah, no. There's no. Yeah, there's really no.
And we laughed about it a bit during the movie because it was so like over the top, cheesy, sleazy.
Yeah.
But there's a long lingering shot of her stripping down into her bikini to get in the tanning bed. And you know that they had discussions about, like, all right, look, like, you know, this is the money shot. Like, we're going to get you in the bikini. And that had to be what made Jennifer Love Hewitt, like, so self-conscious. And so, like, guys, like, just make movies. Don't be weird and cheesy. And don't put that pressure on ladies.
Yeah. Here's an idea. Maybe if you would make a good story, people would be compelled by that.
Some motivating characters.
Wow, imagine that. Make a good movie?
Maybe do the character of Julie justice and not make her a pile of wet Band-Aids whose only job in the movie is to get leered at and then brutalized by two different killers.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's pretty dumb. Pretty freaking stupid.
So yeah, I didn't mean to like totally kill the energy.
No,
in the
you're
room,
good, dude. It's good to be brought up.
I read about that and I was like, no, that's messed up.
Yeah, that is pretty messed up, man.
Yeah, well, the characters were dumb though.
Yeah, I mean
seeing dead bodies and I don't know, just the response time was very slow.
I know.
There's just not much more you can say than that.
I know. I mean, I don't. The thing that I just don't get is just everybody throughout the movie is so insistent about not believing there's a killer, not believing that there's any possibility Ben Willis could be back.
No, like dude. I said, Mekhi Phifer is willing to throw out the concept of a killer over his horniness and his hunger.
You know what? Forget about it. There ain't no killer. There ain't no body. I know.
Back to the honeymoon suite.
Come on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, everybody I feel like in this movie just kind of fell flat. Didn't really make great decisions. There was not a lot of anybody just sitting back and being like, hold on, let's be objective about this. It was just kind of like, well, the script says so, and it's convenient for the movie, so this is what we're going to do. All right, this may be a dumb question on an already dumb subject, but could we make smarter choices in this position? In the position that they were in on the island? Or even before the island, honestly.
I don't think I'd end up on the island because I'm the type of neurotic where if I heard, like, you won this DJ or this, like, radio DJ contest with the wrong answer, I'd be like, let's do some research on this. At the very least, I would be suspicious if I got a random cold call in the morning and it's like, it's your favorite radio station, I'd be like, no. You win a radio contest by calling in, not by having them call you. What is this? And granted, I was born the year this movie was made, so it's entirely possible that was a thing back then, and I just have no concept of that.
Maybe. Forgive our ignorance on the subject. It was
But in terms of
ago.
radio contests, as far as I know, it's like, hey, be the 10th caller, answer this question, and maybe you win.
Yeah.
It's never been like, let me call you up, and no matter what you say, you win.
We're going to go down the phone book and
Dude,
give
I know.
people...
Exactly. That's what I was thinking of, too. It's like, that's a lot of time and money to be spending. Just, Phil, go down the list. Go down the list, brother. Let's see who we can call. Hello?
Yeah.
So that's fair. I don't think I would have even fallen into the long year planned out con.
Yeah, I know, right?
And apparently, if you had avoided that, they had no plan B. They were like,
well,
they're not on the island? Will, what were you even doing up there?
I know this great place in the Bahamas we could go for spring break. It's the 4th of July. I mean, summer. Oh, crap.
You guys don't want to go to the Bahamas? During the rainy season? No, not really. I know you know about that.
You guys read or something? Yeah, Rio de Janeiro. Hold on a minute. It's Brasilia.
Oh,
crap. These guys.
You clocked that right away, by the way. They were like, Rio de Janeiro, and he's like, you just won a trip. And I heard Lanson on next to me just whisper, Brasilia.
Brasilia, boys.
That's not it.
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking, too, is it has been established for the past couple 4th of Julys that's when crap goes down.
Right.
And so this is the 4th of July, and she does feel, like, upset and scared.
She's definitely on edge, yeah.
But she doesn't really take... I feel like if I was in her position, I'd want to, like... I don't know, escape somewhere, or at least put some safety nets, talk to the cops, I don't know, get in a position where I'm protected all day. I don't know exactly what, but I feel like I'd do more than just feel like, oh, I'm not going to go back to my hometown. I'd want to, like, even just, like, hold a gun all day. You know, just something where I'm like, I know if anything went down, it would be today. And so I'd be prepared. I wouldn't go on a fetching trip. Or,
don't
I
leave
don't know.
anything to chance, yeah. Some sketchy radio station calls, and I get the wrong answer, and so I'm just gonna trust. It's the Bahamas, come on.
Yeah, I don't think I'd let my guard down because it was the 4th. It was the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be more suspicious about everything because of that.
For sure, and I feel like a great point that you bring up is at the first of the movie, she's obviously, gone through a lot of trauma. You know, geez, like with the first movie, and then and her friends getting killed and everything, that it just is so interesting that it flips and she's like, okay, Bahamas, no problem.
Yeah.
So I don't foresee anything bad happening.
It's handled at the beginning in a dream where she's confessing to killing the guy, and it's almost kind of sweet, and then it's like this cheap scare, and then she's like, oh, it's a dream. I'm actually just kind of just a ditz right now, and I'm going to go to the Bahamas. Like, I mean, this is going back to her character, but yeah, you're right. It doesn't really...
Yeah.
If I went through those experiences, I feel like I'd be a lot more protective.
Well, and anniversaries are, like, really important to trauma.
Yeah.
So you don't just, like, with an anniversary coming up, you don't just suddenly lose track of all that trauma.
Sure.
The way she does.
Yeah. So it just don't make no sense. That's all we're saying.
I think.
So
different choices.
So so I guess us not even going to the island, there aren't too many other obstacles to go through.
To give the movie credit, once you're actually on the island, hard to avoid some of the same mistakes they make.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Just because of, like,
the location and
a lot of external factors.
And they don't really know that anything's wrong until they do that weird, like, homage to the Max's death in the first movie, which, by the way, was the worst part of the first movie, so it's weird that they did it in this movie.
And kind of doubled down.
There's a body, now there's not a body.
There's a body, no longer a body. So that's the first time they know anything's wrong, and they're like, hey, can we leave? And Jeffrey Combs is like, actually, no, there's a storm coming, so we're all, like, here, we're stuck.
Yeah.
In fairness to the movie, that worked for me.
Yeah.
There are other choices they made that I, like, could have I pretty easily could have avoided. I mean, friggin' Brandy trying to walk on the glass ceiling. Like, of course you fell through.
It's cracking. I'm going to put my foot in the middle of the pane.
In the middle of this pane of glass instead of on any of the framework or beams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's stuff that you could obviously avoid, but in fairness to the movie, like, them being stuck on the island, that was a real and believable thing, even though it was definitely ripped off from Jurassic Park.
That's one way.
You know what? I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Yeah, I know. Freaking Newman. Messing everything up. You had one job, pay Newman.
That's true. Once the storm comes in and the boat, even if you make better decisions than them, you'll still probably end up coming face to face with the killer.
Yeah.
Eventually. So.
Although none of them went for the boats.
Oh, that's true.
We saw the one guy got killed tying up the boats for the night. There are boats.
Yeah.
You can't take the ferry back to the mainland, but there are boats around. At least get off the island or something.
I think they went because they went to the dock, I guess.
Yeah.
When they were arguing and stuff, and then they're like, oh, they cut the boats. So if I remember.
Oh, I missed that.
There's that part where the boats, they're like, oh, there's no, where did the boats go?
Yeah.
So it was touched on, but.
I must have missed that. Sorry.
No, it's good.
Somewhere in the yelling about Mekhi Phifer being horny.
We were a lot of commentary, a lot of there's even one part where Luke had to be like, okay, this guy said this because it was important to the plot.
Right.
Me and Lance were just going off about something.
I know.
So.
Right. I know. We missed some exhibition.
You mean exposition?
No, exhibition. It was an
he
exhibition.
meant what he said,
fight.
Luke.
I'm over here almost saying exhibition. Expedition. I don't care.
Expedition.
We're recording this one real late night, guys.
Yeah, it's
this is a late night.
It's
I gotta get it. I gotta get the word.
I don't even remember the word at this point.
Exposition.
Exposition
is my name. Expedition. It's hard, dudes. I can't even speak the English language when I'm feeling alright, but when I'm getting weird and tired, it's hard. Alright, here we go. So, let's just get down to the nitty-gritty. If we had to say, in your guys' honest opinion, could you make it to Final Boy status?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ray achieves Final Boy status literally just by missing a flight. So,
yep.
I miss flights all the time. I think I got that nailed.
Yeah.
All you have to do to achieve Final Boy status in this movie is not be there for most of it.
There you go, man.
To bring a gun and then it doesn't even work.
Which we didn't talk about this, but he goes to a pawn shop with the wedding ring that he got for Julie. And he gives the guy the wedding ring in exchange for a gun.
Yeah.
And the guy says, well, there's a waiting period. And Ray goes, I'm not waiting. So, as far as this guy knows, he just gave a guy a gun to kill a girl who said no to his proposal.
Yeah.
And apparently this pawn shop guy's totally cool with it. He's like, all right, man, I'll take the ring. Here's the gun. But there's a waiting period. I'm not waiting. All right, crime of passion. I get it.
Well, hey, $300 is $300.
There are bullets in there? No. You gonna put bullets in them? All right. That won't make me an accessory to murder. Let me just load that weapon on your behalf, sir.
Let's put some bullets in there.
Go commit that
great.
crime of
You're
passion.
fair. This is a nice ring.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, I know. So, you make a good point. I think, I'd have to agree with you. It's if you're not in this movie, or if you just miss a flight, or if you just want to, buy a gun with a wedding ring, you'll make it to Final Boy status. So, there you go. I think I could make it, guys.
It was the same thing we said about the first movie.
I know.
If you're just... Yeah. It's easy to be Final Boy. You just have to not be around for most of it.
Just come in at the end when stuff's going down, throw a few punches, and
just, train your cardio, train your hands, just kind of lay low, take your cuts, and then you can make it to the championship rounds. Alrighty, so I think, we're probably in all agreement we can make it to the Final Boy status. Let's talk about Final Girl status. Do we think we could achieve that, honestly, gentlemen?
I think the same argument where if I was on the island and if I was her, even though I think some of the minute details I could, some of the decisions I definitely miss out on and make some smarter things and not split up in the group for one thing, like stay to make some decisions like that. I think in the end, the killer's got the upper hand, external factors coming in the storm. I don't know. I would say probably, given that we make it to the island, probably not.
Yeah.
But if we're going before that, then yeah, I wouldn't even make it to the island. So in that case, I would.
There you go.
So, however you take that, I don't know.
I like it.
Thanks.
Luke, what would you have to say on the subject?
I'm gonna go 2 for 2 with this series so far and say, yeah, like again,
The confidence, yeah,
again,
I like it.
easy.
Believe in yourself.
Honestly, like as a physical specimen, the killer is is underwhelming in this movie compared to the first.
Yeah.
And
So-
even in the first, he was a little underwhelming. So
Yeah, like you had a point I think with the first one, which is if you had to engage him hand to hand, he could come out on top.
Yeah.
This go around, I'm really not convinced of that.
Almost not. Yeah.
Like none of the scuffle, he wasn't physically impressive. His kills were not like nothing really happened that made me feel like, oh man, I'd be toast. Like even like I made the comment like it's so silly. She breaks out the fire axe and then never uses it.
Yeah.
Like, I would have got the fire axe, and then as soon as Brandy's through the window, I would have been hacking off that guy's arm.
You're like, all right, now
I'm like, he has a hook, I have an
chance.
axe. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. I got the room.
Take the offensive.
Yeah, maybe Will could have surprised me a bit with his whole, like, bad guy turnaround. But she has a knife, and all she does is slash his arm. I would have gutted him like a fish then and there.
Yeah, plunge it down.
So I'm just going to, I'm going to go full confidence and be like, yeah, easy. For one thing, I probably wouldn't end up on the island. 2, if I do end up on the island, I'm not going to be a friggin' overcooked noodle like Jennifer Love Hewitt in this movie. Like, I'm going to take action. One thing I do appreciate about Mekhi Phifer's character in this, even though, like, he was just nonstop horny and complaining the whole movie, the one thing I can say in his favor is as soon as he knew there was a killer, he went fully on the offensive. And that's why it sucks so bad that his character died the way that he did with that stupid line.
Just cheap.
Yeah, it was
kill.
a cheap, quippy line and then a kill that came out of nowhere, which was unfair to him because he was cool enough to go on the offensive. So to have him go out with that line was like, are you for real? Like, he was so cool once he took charge of the situation that it really sucks for that to happen. And we want to talk about like smart characters. Freaking Nancy is hardcore.
Oh yeah.
She's like surviving in the pantry by herself, no problem. And then friggin' dies saving Brandy, who does everything wrong.
Yep.
Brandy's useless, and the fact that Nancy died instead of Brandy is actually genuinely heartbreaking.
I know.
Yeah. Fair.
Good points. Very good points.
So that's another reason I could make Final Girl status. Brandy made Final Girl status. She didn't do nothing. She made every mistake in the book.
She only made Final Girl status because people were tripping over pebbles and, like, so to speak, and twisting ankles and just having, like, the wrong situation. Like, dead people.
Yeah, she made Final Girl status because apparently at the last second, Ben Willis decided, I won't kill her.
Yeah.
Because she trips, falls through a window, is splayed out on the floor in front of him, and apparently he just left her.
Whatever.
He's like, at this point, this girl's pathetic. Just leave her.
Yeah.
No offense to Brandy, who's a great singer, a
for
great
sure.
artist, and is even like a solid actor in the movie.
Yeah.
But like, just the character was poorly written and poorly directed. So,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
But, I mean, if you're really mad about it, you can come on the podcast. We can talk about it.
Defend yourself. Come on.
This is a shout-out. I'm calling you out, Brandy. Come on over.
If
Please.
you have something to say about something we say about you, come on the podcast.
The boy may be yours, but this podcast is ours. So...
Wow,
there's that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, man. What can I say? The king of call-outs right over here.
Yeah. Throw it down.
I'm telling you what, brother. Okay. So yeah, as far as Final Girl status, I think I don't know. I don't mean to be too overconfident, but again, to your point, Luke, I just don't think Ben Willis has what it takes to make it to the championship rounds. I mean, let me put it out like this, right? He's in his 50s probably. He's an older guy. He's gone through a lot, lost a hand. He's probably really arthritic. He's going around the freaking going around in the Bahamas in the summer in a freaking slicker. He's probably roasted to death.
Yeah.
And he's like running all over the place.
Heavy
and moving
lifting
bodies.
bodies.
I know, and like dead weight. Like that's 130 pounds to 200 pounds that you're lifting, like solid. Like
Needlessly, by the way.
exactly.
Doesn't serve any purpose.
I feel
really.
like, not to be too much of like an ESPN Sports broadcast about this, but I feel like he would lose a lot of his energy having to move around so many of those bodies, showboating and trying to get the mental edge that his physical edge would not be there. So I think honestly, probably, I mean, you know, and you have a lot of ample opportunity to like get weapons, like you got the axe, you got knives in the kitchen, you can kind of like keep stuff on you without like either one of the killers knowing that you have stuff, so you kind of have an element of surprise. Even if you had Will Benson. Will
Got
Benson.
the name. Surprised you had to think about that.
I really did, man. It's
okay. They didn't say it in the movie at all.
Is there? I mean, really, is his name just Will, or you have to say Will Benson? I mean,
Yeah,
they say
full name.
So you have to say it. So I mean, like he's, let's be honest, dude. He's kind of like just your average college kid. He doesn't look like he's on the wrestling team or he's weightlifting or anything like that. So like, I mean, just knife that dude in the throat. Even if he gets a hold of you, you're good to go. Get his dumpy old dad, knife him too. Good.
Shank that guy.
Forget that guy. Kill him with his own hook. I don't know. Pop that thing off. How do you like it? Anyway. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think it could probably make it to final girl status. In my opinion. You're welcome, Harold. You are welcome.
We done did we
Question
get it.
has been answered.
Yeah, so you know, do we have any plugs, anything that we'd like to kind of advertise or let the people know what's going on?
I mean, as usual, you can follow me over on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you thought me doing fake commercials was a funny bit, you'll probably love my Twitter. It's at Luke Haueter. That's LukeHaueter. Catch me outside.
I'm going to do what I did last time and just say, I mean, this is the sequel, but there's a third movie.
Oh,
so
it's
what are we
coming.
going to do next?
It's a threequel. It's a threequel.
There's going to be another podcast, baby.
I will always know what you did last summer.
So if you're watching along with us, go. I mean, hopefully you got the trilogy pack. What was it, like $5 or something? Pretty cheap.
Oh, they
like,
already have it.
You've got it at home. Come
you guys
on.
already got it. You know.
It's
They
on
have-
VHS. I know.
They have it on film. They put it in their projector.
Film
they just
reel.
Get out
project
the
it up on the
projector.
wall.
You guys
Watch
have-
the next one. Listen to the next podcast.
There you guys go. But yeah, I mean, thank you guys as always. We really appreciate you guys supporting Underqualified as well as this podcast. You guys are the best. Yeah, stay tuned. We're going to have another addition to this trilogy. We got to round it out. But thank you guys. Hope everybody's staying safe. Hope everybody's staying healthy. And we will catch you next time. Thank you very much. Have a good night. And we love you, Wisconsin.
This has been an Underqualified Idiocracy media production, produced by Lanson Lappin, Adam Bone, and Luke Haueter. Theme music for the episode was written by Rachel Robison. You can hear more of Rachel's music at rachelrobinsonmusic.com. You can also find her on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching at Robel Racheson. Artwork for the YouTube version of this podcast was created by Trinity Rodriguez. You can follow her on Twitter by searching at InstrinBaby to see more of her work. This podcast was recorded in Underqualified Studios and edited by Luke Haueter, with special thanks to Mike Fuchs for providing audio assistance. The illustrious voice acting providing the intro and outro of this episode is Shane Alvey of the Paradox Files voice acting. You can explore more of his work on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching at The Paradox Files.